non-retributive karma theory. So what does this say? It starts from the assumption of reincarnation, and it admits that there is a link between successive lives. However, that link is not moralistic. That link is not good and evil, reward and punishment. So it extends the field of causality beyond death. That it has in common with the retributive karma theory. Both extend the causality across lifetimes. And the non-retributive version gives a psychological dimension, which I'm going to explain. It's the other one, the retributive version, that gives it an ethical content. Now, you may have heard about the theory best known in Buddhism. It's also there in Sankhya to some extent. Here and there it's mentioned in the Upanishads. So it's developed in a full-fledged basis of all the rest that follows in Buddhism, where life is conditioned by your own quantum of desires. And so this is the things that you want. It's also the things that you don't want. If you're afraid of certain experiences, that is also going to condition your behavior. But so at any rate, that whole pattern of desires that you die with is going to push you back to reincarnate. And so a practical consequence is that in Buddhism you have this desire to do away with desires. So if you come to a neutral state without desires, without fears, then you don't have this mechanism that drives you back to a new birth anymore.
So even Advaita is the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like to have a sense of equanimity where you detach yourself from desire.
Yes, and so in some form or other in most Hindu schools this has become general. Let's first of all state that this is not purely a Buddhist doctrine. Many Westerners will say, Buddhism, that has the answers. Well, it's one of the many cases where you see that Buddhism is a part of Hinduism and many other schools essentially have the same doctrine. So a famous case from the Mahabharata, there is this girl Amba, who is the elder sister of Ambika and Ambalika, who are the mothers of the Pandu and of Dhritarashtra. So Amba doesn't come to the point of having children. Why not? You see, she's in love with this, what's his name again? Shalya? Shalya, yes. And then she's going to meet him, but you see right there comes Bhishma, and one of the, belonging to the Kaurava side of the family. He fights with Shalya and defeats him. Now, nothing dramatic really happens. You see, Shalya gets up and he's sound and safe, and he can just proceed with his planned wedding with Amba. However, he feels humiliated, and he's too proud, as a defeated man to, court this woman. And so he stops the whole affair. And for her, you see, her world comes crashing down. And so she's very angry with Bhishma for causing this. But there's nothing she can do. As a poor woman, what can she do? So you see, she fasts unto death or something. At any rate, she dies. But with this one determination is to take revenge on Bhishma. And so the next life, she comes back as she comes in. And so she comes in a situation where she becomes part of the army, she can take revenge. And so there is some curse why Arjuna can't kill Bhishma, but she stands behind Arjuna and kills Bhishma. So that's an example of a case of how a desire gets fulfilled across lifetimes. And so you have some Buddhist schools where they lay great stress on the thoughts that you have in your dying moment. because they, more than anything preceding, determine what you're going to be in your next life. So there you have the non-retributive theory of karma. So there are no reward or punishment, which means that you see all these debates about the relation between karma and evil. I mean, in those debates, this is one of the extreme positions, is namely, you say that there's no relation. You know, you can debate endlessly about how exactly it works and so on. Here you say, well, don't worry, it doesn't work. There's no relation between karma and good and evil. And yet there is a precise connection between this life and the next. Namely, that you continue the desires that you already have. And so that's what you do find in this modern reincarnation research. Of course, you can say with all the skeptics that this is all make-believe. You see, these children just say anything, and indeed, you see, when they grow up, mostly they forget these stories. And so maybe they're not worth anything. Children say so many things. So I don't know if these researchers, even though they worked a lifetime on it, so I don't know, about the work of these researchers, even if they've used the most professional methods, spent a lifetime on it, maybe they were wrong. That happens. But nevertheless, what they do say fits this scenario of the non-retributive karma theory.